Okay, so that was interesting. So there's just there's so much in here, and a lot of these people are pretty famous actors. Like they're on this show just for fun. They're in Vancouver for a little while, and this just goes on and on and on. So there's a huge tail, right? One episode. And then they even have, if you really want to get into this is a very rich data set. This is like the sound development, blah, blah, blah. There's awards. Do they win awards? For movies, obviously, you have a whole structure there. If you look at someone like, here is our friend Ron Swanson. I can't get it to... the shame. I cannot believe they did that. Yeah. Not from that, so I'm going to blow up everything, I suppose. But yeah, from that thing, it's harder to copy unless I've put it in there explicitly. So this is, these are all the things he's appeared in, and it's a lot, actually, right? So, but it gets pretty obscure as you go back. ER. Yeah. I don't know, right? That was a huge show. Dude needs a beard. He's got to have the beard on. I saw him on Monk, and I'm like, that's not good. No one should see that. He's on a ton of things, and nothing works, right? Nothing works. So, all right, I'll stop messing around. But Wikipedia does a pretty good job too. Not always, but it's going to be better on IMDb. But they have a filmography, right? So film and television. And so there's a lot of this stuff, like one episode 2, which is not bad, but like you get killed. Gilmore Girls, but nope, didn't take off. They try their guts out basically to like impress people and seem important. And that definitely happens. There are some people who stay on because, the audience reacted well to them. And some people, so 522, Axcom. But here it is, Parks and Rec is his big thing. Axe Cop was just ridiculous. What's that? I'm with you. It's just like, it's out there. Fargo, right? So, but here, and then it's like, does it, whatever, right? People have different big extended, that would be interesting. What's her name in Veep, right? Julia Louis-Dreyfus, right? So she's had Seinfeld and then Veep. Anyway, get rid of that. So there's a ton of data here. Everything that someone like Spielberg's done, blah, 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 and there's all. So this is multi-parto, right? Because now the directors are connected to the actors, the writers are here. You see, the Whedon-verse is sort of famous. Joss Whedon, right? So he co-wrote Toy Story. Yes, the first Toy Story, right? It's pretty weird the connections that you have, and then Buffy the Vampire Slayer, right? And then Avengers now, and he's also on the DC stuff. He's basically saving them from being terrible. What's that? The tragedy of Firefly. Yeah, if you look at the list of like the most tragically like canceled shows. Yeah. Space Western. So great. Rotten Tomatoes, right? The ratings are up and down, and we can't get Metacritic. I've tried, but we can't do that. Obviously, box office is a big deal, right? So that matters tremendously. If you look at, say, Illumination, Wiki, Despicable Me. This is kind of amazing. I'll have some more versions of this, but so this is the group behind Despicable Me, and if you look at theirs, this is kind of unbelievable. So their budgets usually are under 100 million, and then this is their gross for these animated films, which is insane, right? So it's, so Despicable Me, Hop was a failure. This was a Easter Bunny thing. Actually, I had to see that with my children. It was terrible. So, yeah, these were huge. Secret Life of Pets is monstrous. I haven't. Okay, so there's that, and I have a lot of things from 538 to show you. Look at this good stuff here. So this Metacritic score, and you could look at these. These aren't bad, but because we can get this. It's a good proxy.
Why shit always gets made? Because it still makes money.
Yeah, but Yep. Okay. We could have a classification in that way, but we need a better term. But so it's all right. It's a very good word. It means what it says. But you're right. But I mean, but you have to guess what that will be, right? That's not easy. You can't just. It's the same as writing books and all these things. You can't predict, right? We talked about in parks.
The actual quote unquote objective measure of how good it is not a good indication
Right.
of how successful it will be.
So we're going to have a really enjoyable set of things there. So this is interesting, and I'll show you a bunch of that. So genres, this is based on IMDb. This is pretty interesting. I think if I can so if you look on this side, this is the genres, at least on IMDb. These are pretty well populated. They're fairly rich things. So, and then they have lists of these things. This is a bit weird, right? Because that looks like it's just a 1-star thing, but this is actually on a 1 to 10 scale. Deadpool. Oh my God. Yeah, so they have the Metascore built in here, and I don't know how they do that. I guess they allow you to do that.
How is Deadpool 2 up there already?
Yeah, so they've got things that, it might be people looking at the page for these guys, like for this, right? People reading, because they can go to this, they build a big page for each. Oh, jeez. It's Ryan Reynolds, right? Yeah. Oh, God. It's pretty funny. Sorry, it's super wrong. But this is a pretty rich set, that's already categorized here. And I don't know if there are subcategories, like comedy. I'm just saying this is an amazing data set, and I really feel like people have not done. Is there any? No, you're right. So this is comedy, romance. What? So I think they're having a slight problem with the way they do this. There's comedy, so you see here, right? See, it's comedy, romance, comedy, drama, romance, right? So it's in 3 genres. That's the problem. That is terrible, but that's in 3 genres, yeah. So they cross-list them, so that's also super interesting. So if you did comedy and then drama, you would have this, yeah. So now it's just this, yeah. So these are just the general genre. I see.
Aren't they just finding the best fit and not necessarily something that actually fits all of those? Like, do you think that Love Simon is tagged with comedy and romance and drama, or do you think?
Yeah, no, it's that was sorry. This is a mistake in the way they do this thing. This is actually finding everything that's comedy and romance. Okay. That's a glitch. So if you look here, it does have, it is in, yeah, so someone has gone there and say boom, 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 three things. And so whatever this one is, it's Friends. All right, comedy and romance. This one, what does this surprise me? This is so bad to watch now. It's so, this is some very funny writing and so on, but there's so much stuff that's just like, God, you're the worst people. Anyway, except surprisingly Chandler. Chandler is the ethical heart of that show. Okay, so lots of things. As I said, data sources, TV tropes is this other big piece. This site, pretty interesting, started because of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, because of Joss Whedon, basically, because of stories, and they wanted to classify the tropes used. So this is different genres. These are the tropes inside shows. So they're very specific. Like this is a trope. false teeth tomfoolery. Like there's just some, it's not even like a little story, it's just sort of like a thing, you know. So I think that's a random one, browse TV tropes, right? So, wow. It's not just shows, of course, right? I don't think so. The Caped Index. It's just bananas. Yeah, so I think a random trope, what is a random trope? Can I find a random trope? Anyway, that's a whole crazy world of data. So the idea was that maybe we could sort this out so that we break into pieces and work on different things and build a giant data set. Put on the VAC and make a really interesting thing that we can all kind of work on. But that's what, and to have it in this way, it's a multipartite temporal network, right? So it matters what the sequences are of where you're involved. Okay, so I was going to then, so we can talk about that. I just want to sort of just put that in front of you as a craziness.